I almost feel like I don't have to say anything. And I'm gonna tell y'all, I hate writing bios. So when people ask me for them, I'm like, why? Can't you just say introducing Shinese Collins and just let me talk? But no, they always want a bio. So today, we're gonna talk about reflected resilience, shattering the mirror of self-doubt. So for any of you who actually purchased my new book, Shattered Silence, this is coming from chapter 3 of the book. And I'll just take you on a little journey, so bear with me because you will participate. I am not going to keep talking to myself, so you will have to participate. That's okay. Appreciate you. And I'm gonna see how much I can see without my glasses. Pray for a sister. Move on to the next slide, please. So this is about you versus the mirror. You versus the mirror. As we embark on the journey together, a journey of self-discovery, empowerment, and unapologetic resilience, we will take a deep dive into the essence of embracing our imperfections. That's one. That self-doubt and crafting a new reflection in that mirror, one that resonates with unwavering faith and resilience. Are you ready to begin? Are you able to share the slide besides me on the screen just for a moment, the next one? So many of you are probably familiar with the story of Snow White, right? Don't leave me out here by myself. Okay, all right. So you remember it was the evil queen, and she would look at the mirror every single day, and she would say, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" And the mirror would always say, "You are, queen, the most beautiful in the land." And this happened every day, let's say for decades. For all we know, centuries. It's a Disney movie, you know? But then one day, Snow White came on the scene. And she asked the question again, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" But the mirror said, "It's Snow White." So, you know, she was like, "Who is that? And where is she?" And then she ordered for her to be killed because she was like, "We're not having that." Now think about that when it comes to yourself and you are talking to that mirror, "Mirror, mirror on the wall," and you don't see what you want to see, and you want to kill that self, right? So we're going to talk about you and that mirror today. Now, after being banished, you can only imagine how things went in that area, but we know how the story ended. It had a happy ending, right? So you should have a happy ending as well. So now look at me. When you see me, who do you see? My feelings won't get hurt if you say something I don't like. So who do you see when you see me? Okay, Captain Obvious, yep. What else? Who else do you see? Okay, I'll go with that. I'll go with that. Okay, I'll go with that. So let me tell you about Shinese. Shinese was born to teenage parents who abandoned her and left her to be taken care of by her grandparents. She was raised in the projects. She never felt pretty. She's often felt overlooked, unheard, unloved, disrespected, invisible. She's even felt like just no one really cares. She was in a couple of car accidents, one that could have taken her life because she ended up on the opposite side of the street facing oncoming traffic. She was in another car accident where she had to go to physical therapy for 7 months. She was widowed overnight, battled infertility. She even battles endometriosis. She lost 3 members of her family in 33 days. She's been lied on, used, and is a recovering perfectionist. So now, who do you see? Do you still see that? Same person? Okay, so remember how you answered this question about me. Because many of you have experienced some of those same things. But when you're looking in that mirror, you see the bad things or the broken things or the hurt things instead of seeing what you just said about me. You saw strength because of the things I've gone through. You saw resilience because of the things I've gone through. So why is it when you're looking in the mirror at yourself, you don't extend yourself the same grace that you just extended to me? Just a question. Just a question. So let's talk about the first point, embracing imperfections. Have you ever found yourself standing in front of that mirror only to be confronted by a distorted reflection, whispering lies and self-doubt and fear? Have you ever felt the weight of self-doubt pressing down your spirit like a heavy weight? Have you looked in the mirror and seen not your true self, but a distorted reflection tainted by the insecurities and fears that you have? So today, not today, today, I invite you to embrace your imperfections as the unique tapestry of your humanity. Look at it as a mosaic of light, a shadow of strength and vulnerability. Rather than viewing your imperfections as flaws, don't look at them as a bad thing. See them as unique aspects of your humanity. Instead, see them as a tapestry of your experiences, your strengths, the vulnerabilities, each contributing to your resilience and your authenticity. It's in our imperfections that we find the seeds of resilience. They're planted there, but you have to nurture them and help them to grow. They're just waiting to bloom and illuminate the path ahead. So did you know that your language impacts your vision? What you say about yourself and what you say to yourself impacts how you see yourself. So if you say, I'm fat, when you look in the mirror, what do you see? If you say, I'm ugly, when you look in the mirror, what do you see? If you say, I'm unworthy, if you say, no one loves me, if you say, they don't care, if you say, I'm just all of those knots, that is what you see when you look in the mirror. So you have to change your language. And last year, First Lady had us do, I don't even know what they were called, we'll say vignettes, for Women's Month. And my topic was watch your mouth. Because it's easy to just keep saying these things about yourself. And it's subliminal. You almost don't even recognize that you say it. Now, one thing I can also say is I suffer from accepting compliments. Like when people say, oh, you look nice today, I can downplay that thing quick. Oh, girl, this came from Ross. It was $9.99. You know, because it's just like, I don't need, I don't want, I feel uncomfortable. But a lot of us do that. And we need to learn how to receive and be glad that, you know, someone is like giving us love. So some of you might know India Ari, some of you might not. But she said it best. I am not my hair. I am not this skin. I am not your experience or expectations. No, no. I am not the hair. I am not this skin. I am a soul that lives within. So ladies, I caution you to stop looking at yourself in the mirror through the reflections of broken glass. You can't see the real you in those distorted reflections of objects and faces in jagged edges. So affirm with me now. You are not your pain. You are not the divorce. You are not the abandoned little girl. You are not the battered woman. You are not the widow. You are not the bad decision. You are not the lie that they told about you. You are not unwanted. You are not unloved. You are not unworthy. And you are not broken. It is time to change what you see when you look in the mirror. It's time to change who you see when you look in the mirror. To become the woman that you are deep down inside, the woman God created. You were created to have noble character, to be trustworthy, to be strong, to be someone who has dignity, to speak with wisdom, to be virtuous, to be caring, to be blessed, and to let your light shine. So I'm gonna take a sidebar for a minute. I went to an extreme business makeover session, I think it was the end of February. And we were sitting in there and everybody's having all these downloads, and I kept saying, you know how some people say God never speaks to me, and I was like, well, I ain't getting no downloads, ain't nobody saying nothing to me, I'm not getting anything. But eventually we were sitting there and I'm like, I go to that word all the time, let your light shine, let your light shine. And it was like, do y'all remember the Golden Corral commercial when the frying pan would hit the person upside the head? So that was my moment, sitting in that room, and it was like, bam! My name is Shinese. Shines. How am I dimming my light? It's in my name. I'm like, oh my goodness. I mean, it's like, it was almost like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, you've been sitting on this for 50-something years. Like, how in the world did you miss that? I mean, it just went over my head. Shines. It's in my name. So I have got to let my light shine. So, you know what? When some people say, she don't need to do all of that, yes, I do. I got on my tutu today. This is not my element, but it's a new me, because it's a new reflection in the mirror. And you can embrace it or you can ignore it, but it's not about you. It's about me. So I'm going to shine and shine bright. So with that said, 2 Timothy 1:7 says, for the Spirit of God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. So sis, can we confront the shadow-infused mirror of self-doubt? Can we acknowledge the power to distort our reflection, amplify our imperfections, and cast a gloomy veil over worth and potential? But we also need to recognize that this mirror is not invincible. With courage, acceptance, and self-awareness, we can shatter its hold on us, reclaiming our resilience and our strength. Now, some might say mirrors don't lie, because when I look in the mirror, I'm like, that's an extra 10 pounds I didn't ask for. But let's be real. If the mirror is dirty, if the mirror is cracked, if the mirror is stained, it is obscuring your view. So if you're looking at it through those lenses, your view is obscured. But acceptance is the cornerstone of our journey towards resilience. It's important to explore and accept our flaws, our failures, and our vulnerabilities. It's a journey of self-discovery where we confront uncomfortable truths and learn to love ourselves unconditionally. Now, through this acceptance, you lay a foundation, and it allows you to grow and transform. You also have to have a reality check. What lies have you been replaying in your head for years that have tainted your vision? Let that sit there for a minute. What lies do you keep replaying in your head? Something somebody said about you and you know it's not true, but you just keep replaying it over and over and over and over again. So now I say to you, and you're gonna be like, what did she just say? get naked. It's time to strip all of that stuff off. And I thought about a way that I could do that with y'all without me literally getting naked. So in my mind, I was just like, oh, I could come up there with a trench coat and all those things on me, all those labels and things. And I was just like, I'm a hot box. I can't go up there with a trench coat and some clothes on because I'll be done melted before I get to this part of the segment. So I was like, yeah, that's not going to work. I figured out, oh, maybe I can have a couple of my sisters come and just put those words on me. And, when I got to here, I could, rip them off. I was like, that's too much work. So all I can tell you is get naked. Shed those negative thoughts and language about yourself so you can see who you really are in the mirror. So you can see who you are striving to become. So you can take the mask off, because we wear a lot of masks. A lot of masks. And truly see your authentic self. Now, living in the past, it prevents you from growing into your future and embracing the present. In the sacred space of acceptance, we find the courage to gaze into the depths of our souls and embrace all that we are, the light and the shadow, the joy and the pain. It is in this tender embrace of our true selves that we discover the transformative power of self-love and compassion. So let's release the burden of perfection and surrender to the beautiful messiness of being human. Because let's face it, it's messy. We could dress it up. It's still messy. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you. This is the Lord's declaration, plans for your well-being, no, not for disaster, and to give you a future and a hope." It does not say anything about sitting in your past. It talks about a future and a hope. So we got to let that stuff go. So far, we have embraced imperfections. And now we talked about challenging self-doubt, but now we're going to cultivate unapologetic resilience. So resilience is my jam. It came about when I was widowed. People kept saying, "You're so strong." And I didn't like that word because I didn't feel strong. I felt broken. I felt lost. I felt confused. I felt directionless. I mean, face it, you're talking to the man on the phone one night, and the next night you don't get a phone call, and you're like, okay, well, why isn't he calling to say he dropped the kid off? What's going on? And then eventually, 5 o'clock that evening, you find out he's just gone. 2 days before your 9-year wedding anniversary. I had a lot of feels, and strong was the last thing that was on that list. But one day I somehow was in the dictionary and resilient came up, and I was like, I can align with that. Because it reminded me of, some of you probably remember the Weeble Wobble toy. So it's just like you hit it and it goes I ain't going too far, all the way back, and it comes right back up. So that's how I kind of felt like I was. It's like, okay, you keep on hitting me and I keep coming back. And you hit me again and I keep coming back. So I was like, I can align myself with that. So that's where the Resilient on Purpose book was born, because I was like, it's a lot coming my way, but God keeps on making sure that I come back and back and back. So let's talk about cultivating that unapologetic resilience. This is a journey from perceived frailty to untapped power, because we all have a lot of power within us that we just don't tap into. So let us dare to challenge the narratives that continue to confine us and reclaim our agency and autonomy. Our perceived weaknesses are not limitations, but invitations to explore the depths of our resilience and creativity. Let us embrace the messy, the beautiful process of becoming, knowing that our true power lies in our authenticity and our vulnerability. We can break free from the shackles of self-doubt, from societal expectations, And I'm gonna stop right there for a minute. So Nicole knows I keep talking about this inherent pressure thing. It will not let me go. Inherent pressure is something that we put on ourselves and we let other people put on us. Inherent pressure, where you think you're just asking a simple question, but you would really hem somebody up against the wall for something that they don't want to talk about, or they don't want to take on, or it's not their thing. So when someone gets married, the first thing we all ask, when you gonna have a baby? Everybody can't have a baby. Everybody don't want a baby. But that's the first thing we ask. Then you have children, when you gonna have grandkids? You know, they get ready to graduate from high school automatically. When you going to college? College is not for everybody. Now, some of us grew up in a generation where your mama said you was going to college. There was no discussion you was going to college. But if I knew then what I know now, I might not have gone to Norfolk State like that. I might have done something different. So we have to stop putting these inherent pressures on people to conform to what we think they should be doing. Because it's not about what we think they should be doing. It's about what works for them. What works for you doesn't work for me. What works for her doesn't work for you. So yeah, I struggled for 7 years to have a baby. Not even realizing that I had endometriosis. I suffered for years in pain, but I had doctors telling me, get over it. It's just, it can't be that bad. Well, you're not in here. When I be doubled over, you're not in here. And, don't want to get into any real details, but when you have a cycle for 12 plus days, and somebody keeps telling you there ain't nothing wrong with you, so in my mind, I was like, okay, I'm just crazy. So, okay, I don't feel this. No, there's nothing wrong. And then you find out almost 20 years later that there was something wrong with you the entire time. And then you find out, oh yeah, well, you may not be able to have a baby because of these things. And I know, prayer works, but God works how he wants to work. And yes, he gave me the heart's desire of having a child. That may not be what he gives someone else who has that same desire. But I will say, you never give up and you never stop praying. What I know is, I ended up having to have 1 tube removed. Endometriosis, 1 tube removed, had a baby. No drugs, no infertility meds, no in vitro, no anybody else's anything. When I know anything, I was like, I'm what? Because y'all told me I couldn't have a baby. They told me I had less than a 10% chance. And now she's going to be 18 years old next month. That was a slim, less than a 10%. So don't give up on your dreams and your desires and your goals. And just because your sister doesn't understand, it's not hers. So it's not for her to understand. But also don't impose your dreams and goals on somebody else because they're yours. And it's not going to fit on her or him or them. Because you know how the statement says, I'm not for everybody? We not for everybody. We just not. Okay, I'm coming back now. So when we shatter the distorted mirror that has been casting shadows on our worth and potential, embracing the true reflection of our authentic selves, imperfect yet perfectly unique. With each shard of glass that falls, we reclaim a piece of ourselves, our true essence of unburdened by illusions of self-doubt and compassion. So let us shatter the mirror of perfect and embrace the distorted reflection of our imperfect, magnificent selves. It is in our brokenness that we find our wholeness. In our vulnerability that we find our strength. Now it's time to build a new mirror, a new reflection of resilience, faith, and unapologetic power. Did you know we become what we believe? Matthews 9, 29 and 30 talked about when Jesus touched the eyes of the blind and said, let it be done, for according to your faith, their eyes were open. They believed that they would be able to see because he touched them. So when you start talking about yourself in that negative vein, you become what you believe. You become the unworthy. You become the unloved. You become the, I'm not welcome. I'm not respected. I'm not this. You become all of that because you start to believe it. You will believe that, and you will create an image of what you believe. So we need to change that image and lay a foundation of self-belief, bolstered by daily affirmations and spiritual grounding. So today, we construct a mirror that reflects our true worth, our potential, and empowers us to face life's challenges with courage and confidence. So pretend we're rolling up our sleeves, and we're going to embark on the sacred work of building our resilience mirror. A mirror that reflects the beauty of our imperfections, the strength of our vulnerabilities, and the power of our authenticity. Now, through daily practices of self-care, self-compassion, and self-expression, remember, self, and self, let us cultivate a deeper connection to ourselves and the world around us. Finally, we affirm our unapologetic resilience, a reflection of strength, faith, and power. Now, as we stand before our resilience mirror, we vow to embrace our journey and the essence of who we are. With our newfound assertiveness, we project this audacious imagery to the world, unlocking the power of our voice and embracing a vocal resilience. Let us speak our truth, honor our boundaries, and celebrate our victories, knowing that we are worthy of love and belonging just as we are. So with our hearts open and our spirits aflame, let us step boldly into the world, ready to shine our light and inspire others to do the same. Now, as this journey comes to an end, let us be beacons of hope and courage, guiding each other through the dark nights of the soul and celebrating the dawn of collective resilience. Together, we can shatter the mirror of self-doubt and illuminate the world with our brilliance of our true selves. Let us craft a new reflection, one that reflects our unwavering faith and resilience. Together, let us rise, empowered and unapologetic, ready to face life's challenges with courage and conviction. Shatter the mirror, ladies. So now, mirror, mirror on the wall, reflect what you want to see, who you want to see, who you're becoming, and not all those things that we got naked for, right? Because we got naked. Okay. So as you see, well, can you show that slide on the screen, please? I mentioned the 2 books. I have them here for anyone who's interested, over on this side by the fellowship hall by the snacks. So if anyone is interested, don't feel obligated, but again, this was from chapter 3 of Shattered Silence. And move to the next slide. Maybe. Next slide. Okay, so you heard my bio. I do have this company, New Horizons Women's Network. But some people will ask me sometime, how do you find your purpose? What is my purpose? Blah, blah, blah. So I do have this free assessment that you can take. Takes you about 60 seconds. If you're a slow reader, maybe 2 minutes. But if you text the word purpose to 804-390-8048, then you will find out what your purpose is. You'll get a PDF, and you'll get a video of me talking to you about your purpose. And then I have a 5-day challenge that's coming up. I'll share the dates at a different time, but it's a Lead by Being You challenge. Again, something free that you can do, but help you tap into the leader within you and dig deeper to find out who you really are. And I believe that's it. Is there another slide? I can't remember. Oh, can't forget the socials. So, if you're on Instagram, if you're on Facebook, if you're on LinkedIn, at New Horizons Women's Network. Don't forget the S's. New Horizons Women's Network. So I would love it if you like, follow, and share. Okay, thank you, ladies.
Well, if I want to shade it closer, I want to rock like